All right, so Jeff, tell me, with all the changes happening in the world, in our state, in our city, what does it look like short-term future for luxury homes in our market?
I don't think they're slowing down.
I think you are. Good morning, everybody. My name is Nick Lodhi with Vegas Life Plus Style magazine. We have the privilege today to sit down with Jeff from JAG Development and discuss a little bit about what they have in plan, what's going on, what the future looks like, and some interesting news about some foundation I heard. So we'll get to talk to Jeff about that. Welcome, Jeff. Morning.
Thank you, Nick, for your time.
You're very welcome. So let's start a little bit, just a quick intro. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about JAG.
Well, JAG Development's been around in the Henderson, Nevada area for a little over 6 years now.
Okay.
My wife and I have been in business together for a little over 18 years together now as a general contractor. We relocated our family to the Henderson Valley for several reasons. Lots of land, great weather, and we had some family down here. So we've been coming down here for a little over 15 years to visit family, and I finally convinced my wife to bring our family down here as well.
Tell us a little bit about this foundation stuff that I hear. Seems like there's a lot of buzz being developed from it. So tell me a little bit. I'm excited to hear that.
So that's been almost a 20-plus year journey for me personally.
Wow, okay.
I was blessed when I was 14 to enter into a semi-traditional apprentice program.
Okay.
And the school I was going to allowed me to work part-time 20, 30 hours a week with a general contractor. And that general contractor focused on just high-end luxury homes, mainly on waterfront properties.
Okay.
And so I studied under Mr. Don for 4 years. He taught me from ground up how to lay foundations, make sure everything's square, framing, finish work, setting doors, windows, siding, and I learned through all that. Well, when I graduated high school, I knew my path was going to be a general contractor. I already knew that that's the route I wanted to go. I love this industry. I love seeing the tangible results and looking back at the end of the day like, wow, that's just incredible what you can actually build and create. And to be on a job site where there's 10, 15, 20 guys going and gals going and just creating and building, it's electrifying. It's a lot of fun. And so, but when I graduated high school, and that was over 20 years ago, that disappeared.
Yeah.
And it was already disappearing when I was going through high school. The shop class was going away, automotive was going away. And so what I've learned, and I have kids myself, what I've learned is they're not getting exposed to the trades. And one of the things that my wife and I really want to give back, it doesn't have anything to do with JAG. JAG just, going to fund some of it.
Sure.
But we want to partner with a whole bunch of other trade professionals in the Valley and be able to bring shop class back to the seniors and juniors so that they can get exposed before they make another life decision or before they go off to college and try to discover what they want to do. They can at least get exposed to what the trades can offer. What we're going to do, we've secured a facility, a 25,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
And we're going to create that partnership this August is with Lake Mead, Basic, and Foothills. We're going to bring in the seniors for right now because that's all the space we have, I think, until this continues to grow. And they're going to build from ground up a tiny home.
Oh.
So exposing them to basic blueprints so they can understand that. Exposing them to framing, exposing them to all the MP&Es and siding and finished products. And those juniors and seniors are going to be able to walk through from the start and the finish of something that's just a pile of lumber and material, raw material, and create a finished product. And super excited about that. If they continue on to the trades, fantastic, but at least it'll get exposed to them. We'll bring in trade professionals throughout the Valley that's been doing this for decades. Career day, show them what they can offer, the trades can offer them. Construction is the largest industry in the world.
Yeah.
And it's the most, it keeps on evolving.
Right.
You know, I've been in this for 26 years. 26 years ago, yes, we had concrete and framing, but these homes are getting more and more elaborate. The technology is getting more elaborate. These engineers are pushing the limits to what these openings can be, and a lot of structural steel now. So this is an industry that always keeps on changing.
Sure.
And it's very exciting to be a part of an industry that's one of the longest industries been around, but it's the most evolving. So I want to be able to pass that message on to the next generation,
Yeah.
so that they, one, have some basic skill sets, they can take care of their homes,
Right.
and they might be exposed to a trade that they're like, wow, I really like drawing CADs, or I really like running wire, I like electricity,
Right.
or you know what, framing, I like building a wall, standing up, and I see my results at the end of the day. And also sharing what the actual trades pay. Because I don't think most people understand the amount of money you can make in the trades. You can support a great family in the trades.
Wow, that's very interesting. I wish I had gone through an apprenticeship like that, because I could have saved a ton of money trying to do some
Right.
handyman stuff myself.
Paint a picture, remodel a
Right,
bathroom.
I'm like, no, this is what I want now, because I would have known.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't know, this is broken, fix it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I think it should be a life skill, right?
should-
You know,
yeah.
balancing a checkbook should be a life skill.
Right.
But you know, understanding the basic construction of a house should be a life skill. You should be able to understand that, move through it, and even if it's not your passion, it's my passion. I've dedicated my life to it.
Sure.
But you understand it, and I think it'll also bring some more prestige and respect back to the trades.
No,
as well.
that's fantastic. That's an amazing project. Congratulations.
Thank
That's-
you.
That sounds exciting. We'll keep an eye on that. This
Yep.
is going to be very good. And I assume that all this information, as you start this process in August and launch it and stuff, that'll be available through most of your outlets and website and stuff for people to know and hear, and we could share all that information with
Absolutely,
everybody.
yeah. So it's the Gibson McGath Foundation,
Okay.
started by my wife and I, and then Eddie McGath. And we're going to trade or call the class, the shop class. But yeah, that'll all be available.
Oh, nice.
There's domains for it. I have a whole team working on it. It's very exciting.
Okay.
It's like the best part of the week is get
That's
together.
right.
Like, how do we get this even to the next step? So,
Right. No, that's interesting. Now I can see why there's so much buzz around it. So that's very good. All right. So let's come back to a little bit more about building again. Can you explain what's the difference between a luxury home and a custom home? Is there a difference?
That's a great question. You know, a custom home is anything that's really not a production home. Now, we live in the Vegas Valley, the Clark County Valley, and we have all the Fortune 500 builders here, right?
Sure.
But what is really exciting to see over the last probably 10, 15 years is we've had some really great, prominent prestige builders come in and build some very, very luxurious homes.
Sure.
So a custom home is just anything that's not a production home. So you can make it whatever you want. It's a one-of-a-kind home. A custom luxury home is a home that basically very unique, very high-end finishes. It also kind of learns and breathes and lives with you. We're building homes right now that have technology built into it that understands the light temperature understands what time it is outside. So when you turn on the light switch, it doesn't make it too bright or too dim.
Oh.
It adjusts it based on how much light is on the outside. It also learns your behavior, like lights up the pathway to your bedroom at a certain time. It learns and breathes and lives with you.
Wow.
Doors are automated, so you push a button and these big sliders open. Appliances are coming further and further down range as being lots of technology built into it, and easier. High-end luxury homes are not supposed to be just a house. It's supposed to be an experience. And when you walk in there or you live in it, these homeowners are wanting an experience on a day-to-day basis of living in that home. Their pool comes on at a certain time, their lights come on at a certain time, their house lives and breathes with them. It becomes a whole experience.
Wow.
And in order to accomplish that, there's a lot of technology, a lot of infrastructure, a lot of planning that goes involved with that. So that would be the separation between like a high-end luxury home and a custom home.
And a custom home. Okay. So it also, I would assume, it also makes sense to find a builder developer that can not only show some of the new stuff and technology to the homeowner,
Yes.
but also have the understanding of all this stuff, how it will work for them and create something, that uniqueness,
Correct.
custom for that specific client.
And also, like, there's technology that comes out all the time, right?
Right,
And will that technology sustain?
Right,
You know,
yep.
you don't. These homeowners don't want to spend tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars on an infrastructure that's going to be gone the next year. So they're also looking for tried and true. They're looking for high end. They're looking for something that's sustainable.
Right.
And so having a general contractor that has that experience, knowledge, and is implementing it in day basis is very important to research and find.
Yeah, because it's a, once or twice in a lifetime opportunity to create that
Yeah.
kind of a custom home.
Correct.
You want to be able to enjoy it and not have somebody walking in fixing something, on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. How about, do you see a difference, or what do you see in your mind a difference between just buying a custom home that's already done, or finding somebody that helps you build that custom luxury home from ground zero?
Great question. We spent a lot of time in the Pacific Northwest, so the homes that we worked on up there were already existing. So a lot of people would buy a home and then customize it to their liking.
Sure.
Working with an existing footprint or an existing structure or existing elements that would either limit their ability to do what they wanted to do. In the Henderson Valley, there's not a lot of homes, since we're kind of a young city.
Sure.
We're one of the youngest cities in the nation. There's not a lot of history when it comes to 100-plus-year-old homes that you want to preserve, or 200 homes like on the East Coast. Right. So buying a home and then customizing it, you're limited to what that current home has the ability to do.
Okay.
So if you want a really open floor concept and you want these really large sliders, and the home just structurally can't do that without massive upgrades, and even sometimes those upgrades will make it financially infeasible to actually do the project.
Sure.
So building a custom home from ground zero, working with a great architect, walking through that process, designing it, really studying each space, and developing those spaces how you would want it as a client. Mm-hmm. It's a journey, it's a process, it's fun, but you get what you want with the ability to do it from ground up. Versus like a remodel, you're limited on what the existing structure is built to.
There's limitations.
There is limitations.
Yeah. And I would assume that means, from the Northwest to our community, that the home buyers are totally different being, right? Because they're buying that heritage and old and stuff and everything. They want little touches, but save some of that old in there, Here it's like, hey, here's the dirt on the mountain. Yeah. Make me something that's just me and unique.
Vegas is known for just tearing down and rebuilding,
yeah.
Right?
Look at the Strip, right? How many times, everything, it's still going.
Yep. What's really fascinating about construction is you could study each different geographical area all throughout the world, and you'll see different methods and means to build a house or a structure. And some of them have been around for 1,000+ years. Right. Masonry, and we still do mason in this town. Others are brand new. So that's what's so much fascinating about construction is you get to learn and develop what works for that area, and what works for Henderson or the Vegas Valley is not the same thing as like the Pacific Northwest. Like, right. There's not a lot of projects up there in the Pacific Northwest that put stucco on for siding, right. Just because of the moisture and everything else. So it also based on climate too. So what works really well here to be energy efficient and cost effective is not the same as other parts. So right. When we are Vegas Valley, so we get people from all over the world coming in here and building these beautiful, beautiful homes. And we get to kind of educate them through the process of right. What really works here and what has been working here for decades. So it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Okay, awesome. That's very interesting information for people to know. I don't know if normal people like me ever even think about it from that aspect, right? It's like, oh, we need a house. Okay, let's go find a house, right? So
right. Yeah,
that's interesting. Okay, what do you, as a consumer, as a homeowner, let's say, what makes me ready, or what should I be thinking? It's like, hey, I need a custom luxury home. I need a luxury home. What makes me ready to be in that market?
That's a great question. I've sat down with hundreds of different homeowners throughout the 26 years of doing this, and I have always walked through that journey of building a custom home with every client. And in fact, I actually had a meeting with a potential home builder yesterday. He's owned a lot for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So he's been thinking about it. And it just hasn't been the right time. But he knows what he kind of wants. He has an ultimate vision of what he wants. But maybe the market isn't right for him. Maybe the lots of things change. Like interest rates are affecting a lot of people right now if you borrow money to build the homes. So it's a conversation. A lot of people like the idea of building a custom home, but doesn't understand that there is a journey and a process to do that.
Right.
And if it's not articulated how that process works from the beginning, sometimes it can get really frustrating. They might have expectations that it should take X amount of time,
right.
and that expectation is just not realistic. They might also have an expectation of building cost. Maybe they're from some part of the other country and they don't know what the cost to build here is.
Or they remember 10 years ago what it was.
Yeah, gosh, I wish I would have done a lot more 10 years ago.
Yeah, right.
And so walking them through that conversation, having that conversation, getting the expectations out there on the table, realistic expectations, time frame, cost, finished qualities of really what they want, trying to have that conversation, getting that information out, like, what do you want your kitchen to look like? What do you want your flooring to look like? How do you want to experience your main rooms in your house? Getting that information out and then projecting a realistic time frame budget and then walking through that. So it's a process. I always like to say it's a relationship, right?
Right.
All of our clients are going to be with us for 16, 18, 24 months. Some of them, like this gentleman, he's been communicating with Level for almost 18 years.
Wow.
Since he bought the lot. So some of these conversations happen over years, and then finally all the stars align and everything works out, and then we build a beautiful masterpiece. We build art. And so every person is different because every home we build is unique. It's all one of a kind. It's a piece of art when we're done with it.
I like that phrase, piece of art, right? And I get the idea of how important from your point of view, sitting down with the client, trying to extract all that information so it's not just in their head, because sometimes people have a hard time articulating what they really want, right? So you're getting bits and pieces in different ways from them, and then converting that into this piece of art, from blueprint and paper to setting up the ground and leveling and all that stuff that goes in it. So it's the expectations of that homeowner has to be set correctly, and it's a craft in itself, I would assume, to make sure they understand what they're getting into it, so there's no surprises in their mind.
Yes, I mean, with construction, there's always going to be, I always call them highs and lows, right? But I would like to have like more highs and consistently grow throughout the relationship. And but there's always construction. You take a raw piece of dirt, you take a couple million, $3 million, $4 million, and you throw it at it, and you have millions of parts.
Right.
You have, I think our average home has 60 to 80 subcontractors and vendors in it.
Wow.
And hundreds of employees that touch that project. And 12, 14, 16 months later, you have a one-of-a-kind piece of art.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like it. It'll never ever be repeated again. And all these homes that we're building, they'll be here long after I'm gone.
Yeah.
And which is very exciting.
I wish we could use a phrase from this art language that we're using, the piece of art, that, hey, your branding should be, let us build you your next Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And here's the picture of a beautiful house, that piece of art that you created for them.
I would always like to say we get to build the art and architectural.
Very nice. I like that. That's very good. All right, so Jeff, tell me, with all the changes happening in the world, in our state, in our city, right? What does it look like short-term future for luxury homes in our market?
I don't think they're slowing down.
I think you are correct. That's what I'm hearing too.
I don't think they're slowing down. What's very exciting, because Over the last probably 2 years, the market for materials, raw materials, it's a commodity. It's been all over the board.
Right.
I think the world is finally starting to kind of streamline and get understanding and get kind of back to whatever this normal is.
Right.
So we're able to get raw materials sooner, faster. And I think the manufactured material is being manufactured at a more even pace versus long lead times. As far as the valley goes, I don't think the luxury homes is slowing down. I think people that see the potential in this valley, that see building cost historically, even interest rate historically, they're gonna put their money into a beautiful luxury home. So I don't see that slowing down. I also think that we're kind of at a critical point too. We have hence one of the reasons for the foundation, we have about a 10-year kind of window right now.
Okay.
And every year that goes by is going to get harder and more challenging to build. Every owner that I talk to throughout the entire valley, throughout the country that I know, it's getting harder to find skilled labor. It's getting harder to find people coming into the trades. It's getting harder to get a project done with the current workforce that we have.
Oh, okay.
And so the next 10 years for building is going to probably be the most optimal time to build in a general sense, because of we currently have the workforce we have now, and they're good, but we're losing them. So the average age of a workforce is a little over 40 years old. I think it's 53.
Okay.
So in 10 years, they're 63.
Right.
And 10 years from that, they're 73. They're not in the workforce per se,
Right.
or they're not very effective in the workforce. And so building now is it's probably an optimal time to build. Costs have kind of gotten even for building costs. Is not these high volatility numbers. We can get material in a reasonable time. I shared this with another group. 18 months ago, we were ordering window packages before the building permit was even issued, and praying that everything was perfect with that window package order, with the openings, and making sure that everything was working before we even got a building permit, because they were 22, 26 weeks out, and we'd be just sitting there waiting. And some of the windows were actually 40 weeks out. And so you had these homes, these beautiful homes sitting at a stage in construction because there was a national shortage of aluminum. And now we're back to like a 8, 12, 15-week lead time for these, upper tier windows, which is a more realistic time, so that the homeowner can actually see the house framed up.
Right.
They can make some adjustments. We can still fit that somewhat in without a hard cutoff date, and get the house wrapped and lathed and moved on through drywall phase. So I would actually say for building, it's a little bit less stressful versus the last 24 months. The last 24 months, if you were building a home, it wasn't probably a lot of pleasant experiences, because inflation was kicking cost up. The materials delays were prolonging the build, and all that is frustrating, to say the least.
Jeff, that's very, very interesting to know that that skilled workforce that you have that's working right now, that's in their 50s and going into their 60s and 70s, that time frame that you mentioned of 10 years. Did that play into your foundation? It seems like there should be more people should be doing.
I think if you've been in construction for any period of time, you understand that if we're not training the next generation, the trades are in a pretty critical point.
Sure.
It's made national news. It's been in Forbes and all the major magazines that even Mike Rowe even talks about the trades. It's just been devastating that we don't have the people in it. Right. And they're not coming in. So hence one of the main reasons why the Gibson McGath Foundation was formed is it's just a small little teeny for a large problem, but it's going to help the local region out, and hopefully that continues to grow. I've talked to a lot of other business owners that they're trying to do the same thing. They can't hire talent,
right?
So they got to create it. And because when I went through high school, we were kind of somewhat taught a little bit of a skill set, and we chose to go that way or not. Right. That's disappeared for 20 plus years. Wow. So everyone that I talk to that is owners or managers of companies in the Valley and the nation, they're saying we cannot find, I can't recruit talent. We have to train it. And so that's the main reason for the Gibson McGath Foundation, is to be able to train some of the high school students so that they can either go on to a traditional 4-year apprentice and go into the trades, or just go into the trades. Because there's not really a requirement. You can just go. And the on-the-job training, you get paid to do it, and there's a lot of fun in this industry. You can do anywhere from excavation to, framing, to drywall, to concrete, to roofing, to electrical. I mean, it's unlimited. There's so many opportunities.
Yeah, the pathways open up in so many different ways for these young people to see these trades and see what passion they might have in what direction.
Yeah, so, I'm nobody special. I just see what everyone else is talking about, saying that if you want to work hard and you want to maybe get a little dirty with your hands, right now in this country there's more opportunity than there has ever been, period, in history.
Right.
So if you have a work ethic and you want to learn something.
All right, Jeff, so you've shared a lot of information. Let me ask you this. If we were to wrap this up, if somebody is thinking of that custom luxury home, what's that one advice you think you can give them to have in mind to start this journey?
I would say for any client that's in the market of building a luxury home, interview great, reputable, long-term general contractors that's been around for a while. And then find somebody that you can enjoy the process with. You are going to build a piece of art. It's a one of a kind. And yes, there's going to be ups and downs, but you should be able to finish that project as pretty much family. It's a journey, it's a process. You should be able to finish that project knowing that, yeah, there were some challenges,
right?
But ultimately it was a great experience. It was a great product. And the general contractor did exactly what they said they were going to do.
Wow. So expect calls, but not every hour.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you very much, sir. It was a pleasure learning what's coming ahead with JAG and Level, with learning about the foundation, everything that'll go in. Look to support the foundation. We look to promote it, brand and market. My name is Nick Lodhi. I'm with Vegas Life Plus Style, and we just got a chance to sit down with Jeff and JAG Development to learn all that is to come. Thank you.